Hey guys, it's Union, and in this video I'm going to be answering some of the questions you guys have sent me. The first one is why is Russia denying that they were attacked both at the airfield in Crimea and in Belarus? So the airfields here is the Saki airfield and the Gomel airfield. So Russia's official stance on both of them is that they were both accidents. While it's more likely that there has been some kind of sabotage, or it could be an accident, but unlikely, or some kind of attack. So the reason why Russia is officially saying that it's an accident without properly researching or explaining it is most likely because they're taking their time with the response that they're going to take. If they just complain about it, then it'll just create problems for them. So they're taking the easy way out by waiting and thinking about the response to make the best possible response in their opinion. And they have taken this as a page from the Chinese book, where China always waits before it acts. It thinks before it acts. So yeah, Russia is just waiting with their actual response, where this one is just an official one. Do you think Belarus will join, or will Poland annex or help Ukraine? Is Finland still 100% part of NATO, or is it still a VIP? Okay, so let's start with Finland first. Finland is still an inspirational country, aspiring country of NATO, as Turkey still hasn't completely accepted it, because they made their deal where the Turkish said you have to give us these politicians who are Kurdish, and then we'll allow it. But they haven't given them those politicians yet. Same with Sweden. So they aren't in NATO yet. Will Poland annex or help Ukraine? I don't think so. There is, of course, the possibility that they take somewhere around the borderline, Lviv or something like that. Maybe even Slovakia, Hungary, or Romania getting a piece each. But it's very unlikely. But if it does happen, it will happen if Russia takes southern Ukraine and all that's east of Dnieper. Unless that happens, this will not 15 to 20% now. And do you think Belarus will join? No, I do not believe so, as Russia is set on doing everything by themselves. They don't want any help from any other country. Do you think they will use troops from Transnistria? I heard there's a huge stockpile of Soviet ammunition in that region and would make sense to help them with Odessa. They will not ask for their help, but they will try to connect a land border between their occupation zone and Transnistria. Once they reach that, then they will use the stockpile and the soldiers there, of course, as it's them being alone. There's about 1,500 soldiers. They will just be decimated. They will not be able to participate properly. The amount of soldiers in Odessa on the Ukrainian side is about 50,000. So it would be about 30 to 1 if they started attacking Odessa. Have sanctions really worked, or have they failed spectacularly? Okay, so this depends on two things. First one is whether or not the European Union will keep their sanctions on Russia after the war is over. If they just return to pre-sanction levels, or keep some sanctions but still buys the oil and gas and still sells some stuff to Russia, then the long-term effects won't be that bad. But it will be worse, of course, if they keep their sanctions in place. Now, the second thing that has an impact is this article here, where BRICS has announced that they're making their own reserve currency. This reserve currency is the same concept as the euro, where every participating country in BRICS use this currency, and it'll allow them to trade globally with this currency. For example, if we call the BRICS currency BRICS, so if Russia wants to trade with the EU, they cannot buy euros and they cannot buy the United States dollars. What they can buy is the BRICS. Then they buy the BRICS and trade with the EU and the United States. But then you say, okay, but there are sanctions on Russia, so they'll just sanction BRICS as well. Then they will have to sanction Brazil, India, China, and South Africa, which is impossible. This will also stabilize the economy in Russia and the countries that will join BRICS in the future. There are aspiring countries right now like Turkey and Egypt, both of which have unstable economies. If they join BRICS, it'll be similar to Poland or Greece joining the euro. So it'll actually be beneficial in the long run, but early on it'll give the BRICS a hit. However, the countries of Egypt and Turkey are growing economies, and the same with India, China, South Africa, and Brazil and Russia. All of these are growing economies, so the BRICS is actually going to, or the currency that they're going to make is actually going to grow in the long run. If we look at the annual GDP growth of China, it's about 6%, I believe. Loading here. 8%. And if we look at India, it's probably about the same. If we don't count here, 8%, 6%, we 4%, we just don't count 2020 because, you know, no country did well in 2020. So yeah, generally these are growing economies in by a huge margin, which allows them, for if they're creating a currency, for that currency to have a huge value, especially with how most of these countries actually are production countries. They all have their own industry and then they sell it abroad to Europe, to United States, to Africa, everywhere. So this allows all of these countries to actually become richer together. Other than that, there's the fact that Russia actually, the biggest impact the sanctions have on Russia is the import of the Western products that they can't buy anymore, which is mainly machinery and medicine. Where machinery they will have, and medicine, both of them, you'll have the opportunity to buy it from elsewhere, but they need to set up the infrastructure. The same with the exports of oil and gas and natural resources. These will continue mostly, but there's about the 30% chunk which will have to be redirected, which will take maybe 5 to 10 years before they have properly set up new pipelines and so on. Which is why I say it's very significant if the EU decides to cancel their sanctions after the war has finished, because this will allow the Russians to just continue their selling instead of having to build new pipelines and so on. But if that doesn't happen, then Russia can still fix it in the long run by creating new pipelines and so on. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching and have a great day. See ya.